Welcome back to the rest of the story. The combine has been on my list of things to work on here this afternoon. I went through, changed the engine oil on it. I don't have a fuel filter for it, at least the fuel filter that I need. All I have is one of those glass style fuel filters. They are not able to be put on that combine because they're not meant to take that much pressure. So right here, these are the two cab filters, two of three actually. There's a plastic one up there for catching more of the bigger crud. There's a plug underneath that one that's still sitting up there. I mean, there's not much to clean that one out, but I gotta clean that plug out so it can drain. I gotta blow these out. All the other air filters on it are brand spanking new. The inner and outer engine filters, this is what they look like used for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of oil that got out. Kind of dropped the engine oil filter. My bad. So I was trying to make it over to the oil drum, and I gotta get that scooped up. So compared to a brand new one, this is pretty well done. Brand new air filters are white. Same thing with the inner one. They are starting to catch some dust. If you can notice or haven't noticed, this is currently missing off the combine. The shaft, you can see there's a open spot up there with a shop rag in it to keep the dirt and dust out and the birds. That'd be a nice little spot for a bird to make a nest. The shaft, that goes in there. There's a seal that's leaking, but after looking at it just a little bit closer, it looks like it might not necessarily just be that shaft. Oh, dropping stuff. I'm good at that. We're currently waiting on parts. Hopefully we'll have those by tomorrow. We're gonna start putting it back together. 2 hours from start to finish, if everything goes back together properly. I mean, taking it apart is always worse. As long as the parts are the ones we need. Because it's not the shaft itself. I don't know how much you guys can see without my light. The shaft here is fine. It's the piece that the shaft goes through. It sits over top of the, it supports the pulleys, I believe. I don't know. I wasn't the one that tore it apart this time. I was the tool getter for Dad. And it's that outer piece that the pulley sits on. Looks like it was getting some play on it, and the key in itself that it slides over, the key was starting to get some wiggle to it, and just from being used, it managed to wear it out. So we got those parts coming, so we won't have to worry about that leaking. I just got done greasing the whole combine. All 99.8% done. There's a grease zerk right there, up on the unloading auger that I haven't gotten to yet. The problem is that we have 4 grease guns here. We have 4 grease guns, and I went through every single one of them. The Herschel managed to get the job done. That's pretty well out of grease too, though. I'm out of grease. We're going up to get those parts tomorrow, and we're going to bring home a box of grease. Overall, the combine, she needs another bath. She's getting dirtier, or she's dirty from sitting all winter. I gotta go through. I gotta check the oil level on each end of the corn head. Gotta pull the bean head up, go through that, grease it. I have to go through on each of these row units. Ooh. Anybody asked about those 360 brushes on the corn head? They're still very much intact. Well, yeah, they're starting to show some wear. There's some plugs, 1/2-inch drive plugs on each of these rows that I got to go through and pull out. And there's a John Deere corn head specific grease that we have to go through and put in those. and just basically keeping up with all the maintenance on everything, because a fun and boring harvest is what we're aiming for. Can I show you anything over here? I think I left my light over here. The combine is dirty, dusty from sitting in the shed, like I said, but we got to go through. It's going to get a bath at least one more time. All the grease zerks have been hit on it at least once. Well, obviously once. That chain was loose, not bad enough. Doesn't have enough play in it where I got to worry about having to replace it just yet. The clean grain elevator, I did tighten that chain up a little bit. And here's a little bit of a wear point on these units. A lot of grain comes down through here, and hold on. You can see it between rubbing on the corn, and sometimes you can see that might have been the other one. We replaced this once already, but you can see that even just going like through corn stalks, coming up and rubbing this all season starts to be an issue. So I gotta put the auger back in on the yield monitor. Anybody wondering, one of the big things you can do as far as yield management, or management on your ground, that's one of the best things you can do. Get a yield monitor. The reason being is that you're going to find out areas of your farm that can yield that you never would have thought they could yield as good as they do. You're going to find areas of your farm that are yielding kind of poor, and you thought that they were yielding okay, and find out that overall they're just dragging down your overall average. Well, let's just say that since we put this yield monitor on, it's changed the way we do tillage, where we go, what we do. I've gotten away from doing chisel plowing. We're going to find out if that works this year. I've said it to my older viewers, you've heard me say it time and time again. This has been a year-long trial because I started it last fall. I combined my corn last fall, and I went through with the Earthmaster VT tool, which is back in there, which is pretty much ready to go. Don't mind the 82, she's just waiting on an alternator. After we VT'd the corn stalks last fall because I knew they were going into soybeans, we let them deteriorate over the winter. Came back this spring. I believe we hit it once. I'm pretty sure we just went through and hit it once with the VT. Planted it, and I did give in. I wasn't going to. I went through with that first drag chain harrow and just hit it once, smoothed it out, because I like a nice smooth soybean field when we got to go through and harvest it. It's one of those things that bugs me, that I want a nice smooth, I don't want any bumps or ridges throughout the field. Whether or not you're gaining yield, well, even if you are gaining 5 more bushels just from being able to run the head completely on the ground, that's still pretty huge. I mean, 5 bushels times, what is it, like $7 a bushel right now? I know. Yeah, I think prices are getting about that bad. Soybeans are just terrible. Seems how they were at like what, 10.50 at the beginning of the year or beginning of the spring. Corn really isn't all that much better. And off of what I was getting at, but the goal is, with that yield monitor, I'll be able to see if I can get away without having to chisel plow my corn stalks going into soybeans, because I really don't feel that soybeans need that extra tillage if I can get away with it, because I did go through and I sprung for the 360-degree chain rolls in the corn head. It chops the corn stalks at 7-inch increments, and it grinds up the stalks, so it allows when you get down to the dirt, it allows them to decompose from all the microbes and everything in the soil. And allows them to deteriorate a little faster. I definitely saw that this spring when I was planting. And I think right now, Brittany and I did go out and work some of that ground down. But if I can come back, harvest it this fall, granted every year is slightly different or majorly different than the last year. I guess we got some tar spot from way down south that's affecting our corn this year, our local corn south of us yet. The corn is just about close to being finished, and that tar spot is coming in and it's wiping out yield in a very large way. I'm hearing anywhere from 20 to 50 bushels potentially lost from that tar spot, because what it's doing, it's coming in and it's killing out the corn plants, and they're not being able to finish filling the kernel. So test weights are going to be really affected by that. But for like the third or fourth time now, if I can go through and harvest my soybeans and see similar yields to what I've seen in previous years by going through and hitting the stalks with the VT, going through and chisel plowing them and VTing them again, or disking them, VTing them in the spring, and planting them that way. If it's similar yields and I can cut out the deep tillage, the chisel plowing part of it, I'm going to. Now, people are asking, well, we don't just go to full no-till. Well, I have my own reasons, the soil we're in, and being able to see the results of tillage on corn ground. Corn on corn, continuous corn, tillage is very big for us. I would like to do chisel plow basically anything of mine that goes into corn. Currently, with that yield monitor, doing some trials, trying to see if I can justify chisel plowing or just planting right into the soybean stubble. I have been chisel plowing soybean stubble. I have one farm in particular that, I kid you not, and people are going to think I'm exaggerating, that when I go through and chisel plow the soybean stubble, you can see the dirt that I'm dragging up is coming up in clumps. Like, it's practically looks like I'm pulling up concrete. That farm has shown a better yield response by going through and doing tillage, even though it's soybean stubble. It's a farm by farm, it's a region by region thing. The tillage argument, I don't think anybody is ever going to win that. I mean, they've been arguing that since what, the 60s, the 70s, and like one person said, I think it was somebody at some university, the reason why the no-till guys are never going to win is because there's guys out there that purely want to just drive a tractor. Granted, I do partly fall into that category, but I also look at the management side of it. When you look at planting and harvest and everything else, I have no problem not doing tillage if it helps my bottom line. I mean, that's why this yield monitor, going back to what I was saying, yield monitor helps you in many ways, because now with that monitor in the cab, it's the same monitor that we use on our corn planter. We can do trials in the middle of a 100-acre field, and we can come back and harvest it that fall, and it just automatically picks up that yield data. So after harvest, once all the excitement has died down, you can go through and look at your test results, in theory. All right, I hope you guys really didn't run you guys around too much, as far as that really just wasn't a combine topic. One last thing that has to be done for the combine this fall: Midland Radio. We are putting a micro mobile from Midland Radio into the combine. It's kind of dirty, I know, sorry about that, guys. The reason is because we got this and we had every intention, we still do, and we're going to put this in the combine, and seems how the combine is out, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it up to Dad. At least Dad can decide where he wants it in the cab, and we'll go from there. Because those radios, they're simple little radios. I don't think they're really all that expensive for what they do. It's nice being able to quick and chirp back and forth between each other. I know CBs are a thing too. The reason I like those micromobiles is because, like those handhelds. I like to strap them onto my collar, so when I'm out of the tractor, I can still hear Dad or Ryan talking between each other, or if they're looking for me. Great for setting the auger up to the bin, because sometimes when the sun's in your eyes, you can actually talk between each other and you can know what is going on. Big instance that was a huge help last fall was when Ryan and I switched between bins last fall. In the dark, it was like 9 o'clock at night. Really couldn't see much of anything. The wind was blowing, and Ryan had that radio up on top of the bin, and I was down in the tractor backed up to the bin, and we did that entirely by talking back and forth on the radio. I never did see Ryan on top of the bin. So, oh, it's the little things, guys. Well, it is 6:15 at night. Calves are calling. I have a bunch of things to do around here yet. Between that and everything else, the combine hopefully will be ready to go. Give me about a week. I want to clean the windows on everything here, and I don't know. I think harvest is creeping up on us faster than what anybody really realizes. I'm hoping that's not true. I mean, October 1st sounds like a good starting date, because we got hay to make yet. So that's long enough. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging around, letting me talk to you. Until next time, until maybe tomorrow, I don't know yet. I'm thinking Monday and Friday videos might start to become a thing, getting into harvest. Don't quote me on that, but you guys might start seeing more of them. On a side note, I'll probably have to do a video dedicated entirely to it. I have a new, different online store coming. They literally just sent me the link. Probably in the next video, or potentially even in this video, if you check down in the description, or maybe there's a link up above. I'm going through a new store, a new company providing the shirts. I believe it's screen printed with just my standard logo. And also, if you guys saw me running around with that hat at the farm day with my logo on it, I do believe that they provide hats. And they have like how much other stuff I can probably add to it too once we get going. So you guys are watching the rest of the story. Thanks for hanging around. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you guys later.